Chapter 48 to 53. We all arrived at the scene of the war. Right now we're all standing at the edge of a cliff nearby overlooking the entire battle like badasses. Why is there a random cliff like this here in the middle of the marshlands? No fucking clue. Anime logic, I guess. I mean, no one else is questioning it. Anyway, we haven't made a move yet. Gabble and his group just got surrounded by the orcs. It seems the orcs ate one of the lizard men and gained their properties already. Big rip. After that, an orc general steps up and Gabble challenges it to a duel in an attempt to break out of the encirclement and perhaps to buy time. Of course, Gabble gets fucking wrecked. Mikoto is conflicted about whether she should feel satisfied seeing Gabble getting his ass handed to him or worried about him. In a way, I didn't step in because I wanted to see how Gabble would act. This is a parallel world, I don't know how Gabble would have changed from his canon counterpart. But it seems not much has changed, his moral standards are still there. Even in this situation, he didn't abandon the goblins with him and chose to protect them. It's because of that, they ended up getting surrounded, but Gabble still didn't leave them. That's good. If he did, I would have killed him myself. I don't need a selfish egotistic bastard under me, just an egotistic bastard is enough. Rimuru, right, Gabuta, you and the goblin riders keep the lizard men safe. Ranga, can you go with them? Ranga, understood. They then used shadow motion to arrive right in the middle of the encirclement just as Gabble ate the dirt for the 5th time. Benimaru, Rimuru-sama, what about us? Rimuru, well, that's obvious. Go crazy. After I said that, the Kijin all had a feral smile before they jumped off the cliff and split up to have their fun. The orc army detachment that attacked the ogres have already joined back, after all. Mikoto, Rimuru, You're still here. Mikoto is still standing next to me. Shizu is hanging over her shoulder, yawning. That lazy cat. Mikoto, well. Mikoto looks towards the large orc army with hesitation. I show an expression of confusion for a sec before a light bulb lights up in my head. She's reluctant to kill. I smile, walk in front of her, and raise my hand. Pat. I let my hand fall onto her head and start patting her head. Rimuru, don't worry. I can revive all the orcs that die here. Go crazy. Mikoto blushes in embarrassment for being treated like a chili for a moment before she nods at me and uses her Electromaster ability to shoot herself into the air before falling right into the orcs as gravity claims her. Tum. After that, lightning strikes and all hell breaks loose. It seems she'll be alright. But I wasn't lying, you know. I can revive the orcs. I got a bit annoyed at myself for not killing any orcs during the ogre village incident. But I couldn't just kill them when I want them to serve under me. And knowing that there's a giant battle against the orcs coming up, I sought a solution. The result? I'm a fucking idiot. Heaven's Feel can literally revive people from the dead. Why am I so reluctant to kill? I'll just have to revive them after they die. Simple as that. And so I'm using Heaven's Feel over the entire battlefield, collecting all the recently deceased souls for revival later. I could also take this chance to scan them with Raphael and Predator to get more skills, but yeah, I don't want to have to deal with that clusterfuck list of skills again. Anyway, I jump into the sky and begin flying using temporary runes I wrote on my hand, overlooking the entire area. Benimaru is firing of one hell flare after the other. Hakuru is speeding through the orcs, decapitating them with ease and shine. Boom. She's fine. Bang. Those poor orcs. Surprisingly, Shuna is also racking up quite a few kills for herself. She's more of a magic specialist if I remember correctly. Of course, she's more of a supporter than a fighter, but yeah, she's actually doing quite well. Mikoto, however, is contesting the number 1 spot with Benimaru 4, most orcs taken down. Of course, even with my warning, she's still being careful not to kill anyone. But there are a few dead bodies here and there. She's not unfamiliar with death. There's the sisters incident, and she even wanders through the forest around the village and fights some monsters. Generally non-sentient monsters, like night spiders and giant ants. Basically, ones that can't think and only move off instincts. But in the end, she's reluctant to kill anyone that can think and speak like a normal human. But now that I think about it, these orcs are the same in a way, only moving off their instincts. Where did Shizu go? Shizu, gahahaha. The voices. They're back. The blood. So much blood. Ahahaha. Shing. Gunshots. Nuclear explosions. Orcs squealing off in the distance. I didn't hear anything. Shatter. I hear the sound of glass breaking off in the distance, which attracts my attention. My senses land on Ranga. In front of him is the orc general. However, the orc general now looks like a Picasso painting. His body is completely shuffled around and it's like looking at him through cracked glass. And just like that, the orc general falls apart with blood and guts everywhere, gruesome. But what the fuck was that? Report. Individual Ranga has evolved into a Spatium Star Wolf and has used an attack by the name of Spatial Shatter. Huh. I can guess the effects of that skill from what I've seen and its name. Can I do that too? You can. Sweet. Oops, more orcs are on their way to Ranga. I throw an Apache attack meat bun their way. I watch as it sails across the air, landing right in the middle of the orcs. It disappears in a flash of light and then all of the surrounding orcs start disappearing into ashes Infinity War style. Orc, I don't feel so good, whoosh. May you rest in peace. But now that I think about it, isn't being able to see the whole battlefield a massive tactical advantage? Aren't like I a satellite then? Wait, should I make satellites? But what if it just gets found by someone like Guy Crimson? Maybe I should add stealth capabilities. But if I'm doing that, maybe I should add offensive capabilities as well, a sunlight convergence laser. No, wait. A meat bun convergence laser. My genius is, it's almost frightening. No, seriously. That laser could commit several war crimes just by existing. I mean, what if it grows a sense of sentience and kills innocents without my knowledge? Yeah. It's serious. But still, I'm getting a bit bored. Should I step in as well? Yeah, I wanna have some fun too. No one is permanently dead in this battle, so I don't need to hold back. But even so, just wiping the floor with them isn't really satisfying. I mean, if it's someone like Gabble, then it's satisfying, but for a mindless army like the orcs, then not so much. I guess I could just restrict myself. Then, right. No skills, just pure melee combat. I bring Shizu's mask and Yamato out from my stomach and wrap its scabbard string, Seijo, around my belt. Yamato, you're getting action so early on. Lucky you. I erase the temporary flying rune on my hand and suddenly gravity grabs hold of me again, pulling me down from my position in the air. My clothes and hair flutter as the wind rushes past me and I close in on the ground, not bothering to brace myself for impact. While falling, I also wear Shizu's mask onto my face. Boom. I land feet first, causing the ground beneath me to crack and sent dirt and mud flying in the air. I stare at the orcs ahead of me, sending chills down their spine. I don't bother restraining my aura too much at this moment, so some leaked even under the mask's magic resist effects. Under the influence of the Orc Lord, the soldier orcs can't feel scared. The starved, unique skill even consumes the fear of the user's allies. Even so, the orcs around me knew that I am an apex predator. My golden eyes shine behind the mask as I grasp the scabbard of Yamato with my left hand and lower my right hand onto the handle. I lower my body into an IAI stance and I breathe in. Yes, I am aware I don't need to breathe, leave me alone. Shing. With that sound, without Yamato even leaving its scabbard, the orcs in front of me aren't hurt at all. Orc URG. Splash. A random orc standing behind me groans before falling dead into the muddy water. I meant to do that. Rimuru *****, I wanted to show off and do that classic, killing without even drawing the blade, but I fucked up. I'm gonna take it out on you fuckers. And so, the orcs all around me shivered while silently complaining about my shamelessness. So yeah, I started swinging Yamato around, killing any orc its blade happens to cross regardless of distance. Even so, I'm keeping in mind my techniques and using them as best I can. If I don't, I feel like Hakuru will somehow find out and beat the shit out of me. I run across the wet ground with ease after writing a rune that lets me walk on water after taking some inspiration from a certain Saber and Minecraft enchantment. Shing. I bring Yamato down on a random orc in front of me, cutting him in half. Universal Sense picks up movement behind me so I duck, feeling a wooden club fly over my head before I turn around and swiftly decapitate the orc that tried to get a little sneaky with me. This is the third time this happened. When will you learn? When will you learn that your actions have consequences? Another orc runs up from the side. He raises his axe and brings it down with not-so-righteous fury. I just step to the side as I watch the axe fall down in front of me in slow motion before running past it, under the orc's outstretched arm and simply continuing on my path, not even bothering to look behind me. Meanwhile, the orc simply falls over, now in two separate halves, separated at its stomach. In a way, the orc's armor is more detrimental to them than anything else. Yamato can render purely physical defense like this into nothing but paper armor. When going against me, speed is more important. Either that or if you can lock down space in a certain area, then you might stand a chance, unless I choose to say, fuck you, because no one is better at using space than me. I pump magicules into Yamato before I stop in my tracks, sheath Yamato back into its scabbard, and close my eyes. I'm gonna do what's called a pro-gamer move. I hold the scabbard with LY left hand and I flick the pommel of Yamato with the middle finger of my right hand. Tithering. A sound not unlike the chime of a bell in a soft breeze rings out. And then, silence. All around me, the orcs stop their movements and orc noises, and just fall over. Man. I look so badass right now. Shizu, you look cringe, Rimuru Naya. -999 HP. Ugh. Rimuru, Shizu. You're done with your you're done playing around. Shizu suddenly appears behind me in my cool/cringe moment from God knows where. All cats have teleportation powers, and jump up onto my shoulder. Shizu, Naya. Shizu just nods with half-opened eyes and just hangs over my shoulder. This lazy cat. Rimuru, *right. I found the Orc Lord while I was running around. The big guy isn't even bothering to hide his aura, it was quite easy to find him. Mikoto, there are also a few more connections running through a few of the orc generals. This time it's Mikoto who walks up to me. She's still passively cracking electricity from her body. Rimuru, connections? Mikoto, yeah. There's some kind of transmission coming from a couple of the orc generals I ran across. If I had to take a wild guess, it should be some kind of information sharing magic or skill. It's probably the crystal balls linked to those orcs, so Gel Mud and maybe even Clayman could look in on the situation without actually physically being here. Think of it like remotely viewing something through a camera, except the camera is the eyes of the orcs and the screen is the crystal ball itself. Rimuru, you sense that? I ask with surprise, lacing my voice. Mikoto picks up on it and puffs out her chest while acting smug. Mikoto, well, I am sensitive to signals and the like with my Esper ability. With magic sense, finding something like this is a piece of cake. Even I was a bit surprised at this, honestly. Whoa, she could do that. Did you know that, Raphael? Even, Raphael, didn't seem to know. Mikoto is. Rimuru, kinda amazing. Mikoto, eehee. Mikoto began bashfully laughing while scratching the back of her head. Well, even if someone is a little peeping Tom, this doesn't change anything. If anything, let them watch. It's not like we're using all our trump cards, and we could even send a message. So Rimuru-sama. The captured lizard men have been rescued. There was an orc general here, but I easily took care of it. Rimuru, I see. Good work. Escort them somewhere safe and come find us again. So understood. So cuts off his connection and I look in the direction of the Orc Lord. Rimuru, I think it's about time to end this. The fight is still ongoing. It's been like this for a while now. Benimaru and Cheyenne are taking out as many orc soldiers as they could. Hakuru took it upon himself to take out as many commander-level orcs as he could, speeding all around the place. Shuna decided it would be best to team up with the Benimaru and Cheyenne group, supporting them as best she could, boosting their already crazy kill count. Mikoto is somewhere between the two groups. She's taking care of some of the commander-class orcs, but otherwise, she just erases entire areas of the orcs, her electricity vaporizing them all while occasionally controlling iron sand to shred them apart. Ranga, Gabuta, and the goblin riders are doing their jobs taking care of the lizard men. They quickly escaped the encirclement and are now coordinating with each other to take out the orcs as safely as possible. Well, Ranga is just tearing through them all without a care in the world, but he's an outlier. Things continued like this for a while. I quickly found the Orc Lord while I was massacring some orcs myself, but I decided it's best to vent a bit more before making a move. Shizu finally calmed down, thank God, and Mikoto finally couldn't ignore the occasional transmission signals she picked up every now and again over the battlefield and came to me to let me know. After that, I decided we should start heading over to the Orc Lord. Rimuru, right, I think it's about time to end this. I contact the Kijin and Goblin riders with thought communication. Rimuru, I found the Orc Lord. Start heading over there. I send a short message to them while sending the Orc Lord's location alongside it. I also sent the location to Mikoto too. Mikoto smiles while reading through the location information in her head. Mikoto, finally. Right, I'm heading off. Mikoto quickly turned around and ran full speed straight for the Orc Lord. I smile wryly at her departing back. Just a moment ago she was reluctant to fight and now she's all gung-ho about dealing with the Orc Lord. Well, it's a good thing. Rimuru, you're not going. I look over to the lazy cat on my shoulder. Shizu just shakes her head before yawning. I wonder why she changed so much from her human self. Maybe it's the fatigue from her time as a human. Rimuru, is that so? I write another flight rune on my hand and bend my knees before jumping into the air, returning to my position as a slime satellite. Shizu, I see no god up here, other than me. I feel like Shizu said something. Must be my imagination. I make a couple of meat buns and I nibble on one of them while handing the second one to Shizu. She just grabs the bun with her little paws and starts nibbling. She's so cute. Meanwhile, Benimaru, Cheyenne, Shuna, Hakuru, Soai, Ranga and Mikoto all arrive at the same time in front of the Orc Lord. The Goblin Riders and the Lizard Men are a bit behind. A crazy coincidence. I wonder if someone made it that way on purpose. They look at each other, look at the Orc Lord, look at each other again and smile. It seems they came to a silent agreement. Benimaru jumped forward first. Benimaru, Hell Flare. Boom! A transparent dome encloses Gelb the Orc Lord within it before immediately filling with a blistering black flame. The unlucky Orc generals by his side were also caught in the area and immediately vaporized. RIP. After a few seconds, the black fire within dies out and the dome disperses, revealing a heavily damaged Orc Lord. I know Benimaru could have easily taken care of the Orc Lord in that attack, but Cheyenne, leave some for us too. With her shout, she leaps up into the air and brings down her giant blade down onto the barely recovering Orc Lord. Another boom. Is that a fucking sword or a blunt weapon? The Orc Lord raised his arms above in a desperate attempt to block them, but as a result, both his arms are shattered. Yes, shattered. Not cut. Can someone explain? Please. Hakuru runs forward at a speed you can barely track with your eyes and disappears in front of the Orc Lord, suddenly appearing behind him. Yet another boom. The blade of his sword that is barely peeking out of its sheath gets shut back it and the Orc Lord's arms fly off. Why was there an explosion? Shuna doesn't move and simply raises her right hand towards the Orc Lord while her left hand is covering her mouth with the sleeve of her Shrine Maiden outfit. An intrinsic magic circle the size of her upper body appears just in front of her hand and a ball of magicules begins to condense in the middle of the circle. Shuna, explosion. Asterisk one more boom. For the road, asterisk. It fires off a laser of pure magicules and pierces the Orc Lord in the stomach. Soai waves his hands sending out dozens of nearly invisible threads, tying themselves in a beautiful pattern around the Orc Lord and raising him off the ground, cutting deeply into his skin. Asterisk boom. Again, asterisk. How does simply trying threads around him make an explosion? You know what? I don't care. I'll ignore it. Ranga howls to the sky and immediately after that, the Orc Lord coughs out some blood. An internal attack. A quick scan with universal perception shows me that his inner organs are completely ruined. If this was back in my old world it would be a miracle to even stay alive for a few more seconds. Ranga, this is just a light punishment for going against my master. Ranga grows at the Orc Lord who now has a foot through death's door. Delayed boom. Inhales. Stay calm. Crackle. Large amounts of electricity vortexes Mikoto with her body at the center. Small rocks on the ground begin to float while the water around her evaporates. Taking a metal coin I made for her from her pocket, she flicks it up into the air. Time seems to slow down as the electricity concentrates into her thumb on her right hand. She closes her left eye as she takes aim. The coin falls due to gravity and as soon as the coin lines up with Mikoto's eye and thumb. Asterisk last boom. I swear, asterisk. That wasn't the sound of Mikoto firing off her railgun. Directly in front of the Orc Lord, something flies down from the sky impacting the ground, creating a crater. Dust rises from it, clouding my vision and hiding his identity. How he can make a dust cloud in marshlands is beyond me, but more importantly, he interrupted Mikoto's railgun. I was so looking forward to it. Fucker. A dust cloud is obscuring our view from uncovering the identity of this mysterious Majin. Of course, I already know who it is. The dust cloud clears. The figure within suddenly flexes and speaks. I am here. All might. Beep. We are having difficulties, please stand by. The dust cloud clears. Gelmud, who dares to disrupt the plans of the great Gelmud himself? Ooh, this is rare. This guy seems to have a bigger ego than Gabble himself. No, now that I think about it, they seem to have the same level of young master fodder potential. It's hard to tell who's coming out on top. The goblin riders and the lizard men suddenly arrive at this point. Anyway, this is Gelmud, the Majin who works under Clayman and is making a mess in the Jura Forest. He's the one who gave the Orc Lord the name of Geld. An original name, definitely not a shortened version of his own. He's wearing white clothes that seem a little formal and a top hat while holding a walking cane in his hand. He also has a plague doctor mask on his face and his ears are long. Honestly, his clothes look weirder than anything else. But alas, he's currently in the middle of monologuing about something, so according to anime laws I can't speak up and diss him about it. Right, let's tune back in. Gelmud, you'll be useful to me in death. Consider it an honor. Oof, he's really racking up those arrogant young master points right now. I'm getting the same itch I had with Gabble. The kind where you want to just make him eat dirt. So, what happened? Report. Individual Gabble has recognized the Majin as Gelmud and requested him for assistance against the Orc Lord, assuming he came to help him. However, the individual Gelmud quickly made known his relations with the Orc Lord and his intentions to make him a demon lord. He was in the middle of telling the lizard men to, and I quote, be eaten by the Orc Lord and become his strength. It was at this point you zoned back in on the conversation. Oh. Right, I can sense Gelmud gathering magicules and prepping an attack. I guess I should step in. Spark. I hear a familiar spark, so I look for the source. It's Mikoto. I mean, I already guessed that, but... Oh shit. JPG. She looks angry, like, her bangs are even covering her eyes. That's when you know shit's about to go down. I mean, that ominous aura is also another telltale sign, but the bangs covering the eyes aesthetic is more reliable in an anime world. Everyone knows that. And of course, like the cliché villain he is, Gelmud is the only one who doesn't realize it. Even Gabuta is starting to sweat. Yeah. Gabuta is aware of it. That's when you really start to question how the bad guy doesn't realize it. Gelmud, shiny. Gelmud then shoots out a red ball of light at Gabble. It's harmless to me and the Kijin even if we didn't bother dodging. Well, Mikoto would have to dodge as she doesn't really have much defensive power. And the goblin riders would also have to dodge. But to Gabble and the other lizard men, it's quite lethal. Gabble, who is still shocked at the news of Gelmud's true intentions, the man he considered the only one worthy to serve, couldn't move out of the way from the ball of light. Gabble's men wanted to pull him away and even take the shot for him, but... ZZZZT boom. A lightning strike hits the speeding ball with pinpoint precision from the side and causes it to explode. Gelmud, ha! Who dares to interrupt the great me? You legit just said something like that 5 minutes ago. Increase your damn vocabulary. Gelmud shifts his attention to us and begins raging. I wonder what would happen if I gave him an Xbox. Mikoto, oi. A chilling voice interrupts Gelmud. He looks ready to blow his top, but Mikoto continues speaking. Mikoto, I was looking forward to taking down the Orc Lord. I even got the chance to make the final blow, but even so, I get interrupted. I'm a little pissed now. Gelmud, who cares? You dare to interrupt me. You are courting death. Oh shit. He said the thing. Gelmud, Death March Dance. Gelmud creates a magic bolt larger than the previous one and lifts it into the air. It splits into many smaller bolts before all of them shoot off directly at Mikoto. Now, remember when I said that Mikoto doesn't have many defensive capabilities? Yeah. I lied. Immediately after Gelmud launches his attack he begins laughing. Mikoto, however, doesn't move. Spark. She raises her hand as sparks of electricity bounce off it once or twice. Fwoom. From beneath her a wave of black iron sand appears and creates a dome shield in front of her. The magic bolts smash into the shield but undamaged the shield takes instantly get regenerated. Gelmud stops laughing. The dome shield lowers itself, revealing an unharmed and pissed Mikoto. It was at this moment, he knew, he fucked up. Gelmud, you let's talk about dash. Vayam. Mikoto fires off a railgun without all the prior charging and it instantly takes off Gelmud's arm. Even in this state, she's still a bit reluctant to kill. She knows I wouldn't resurrect this guy after all. Well, even so, Gelmud no longer has an arm. Gelmud, and so begins Gelmud screaming. Gelmud, what are you doing, you stupid pig? Quickly, kill them all. Do as I say. Gelmud then turns around and resorts to ordering the Orc Lord to take care of us. Although the Orc Lord doesn't have a regeneration skill on the level of his regeneration skill as a Demon Lord Orc Disaster, he still has one. And so, while Gelid served as a convenient distraction, the Orc Lord is now fully recovered. What next? Is Gelmud going to call his sect? Is he going to bring in his whole family up to 8 generations back? The Orc Lord takes a step forward. The Kijin step forward to deal with it, but I just hold out an arm in front of them. Rimuru, wait. The Kijin are confused, but they listen to me and stand down. Gelmud, who sees the moving Orc Lord, turns back to face us and begins his cocky laughter. Gelmud, gahu. Why, you're in big trouble now. Orc Lord, kill them. Ahahaha dash. Shing. The Orc Lord picks up his weapon, a giant cleaver, and brings it down, taking Gelmud's head clean off his shoulders. Yup. That seems about right. He barely even lasted a chapter. So yeah, Mikoto once again beat the shit out of an arrogant young master type. Are you absolutely sure Mikoto isn't the protagonist? Moving on. The Orc Lord then killed Gelmud and is now in the process of eating his corpse out. Fuck, wrong choice of words. God, where is that memory-erasing rune paper when you need it? Disregarding my internal dilemma, the Orc Lord continues to eat Gelmud. Everyone is shocked, wondering why the Orc Lord killed his benefactor. Rimuru, the Orc Lord's intelligence is very low due to eating and gaining so many skills and powers. He's not meant to hold such a variety of powers, and thus his intelligence took a hit. He understood his benefactor's wish for him to become a demon lord and, with his limited intelligence, chose the option that will let him evolve the quickest. And that is to kill and eat a high-level magen. Why did I explain everything? Well, for one, I wanted to flex my knowledge. I succeeded in that part judging by the shining eyes all of the Kijin, goblins, and wolves are giving me. Even Gabble and his men, disregarding how shocked they are, now understand what the fuck just happened. Secondly, I wanted to explain to Mikoto specifically that Gelmud didn't die because of her. Regardless of her actions prior to this, she still has an aversion to killing. Sure, she killed many orcs, but that was only under the belief that I will keep my word and resurrect them later. Which I will. But since she forced Gelmud into a corner which made him order the Orc Lord to do something, which caused the Orc Lord to kill him. You get the idea. Mikoto looks over at me with shaking eyes and a pale complexion. I stare right back at her and give her a reassuring smile while nodding. Mikoto looks back at the Orc Lord feasting on Gelmud's corpse, closes her eyes and takes a deep breath. She opens them again and, while she still looks a bit pale, she no longer has shaking eyes. That's good. Crunch. With that crunch, the Orc Lord finishes his feast and stands back up, his aura exploding. Report. Orc Lord's magical capacity has greatly expanded. Evolution in process. Confirmed. Orc Lord has successfully evolved into Orc Disaster. During the process, a Demon Lord seed has been obtained. And thus the Orc Disaster's evolution into a new Demon Lord has been completed. Please note that I'm using the words Demon Lord very loosely. He's not a true Demon Lord yet, I'd say he's on the level of Clayman, Fry and Carillion, granted, a bit weaker. Geld, Greyerg. I am an Orc Disaster, the devourer of all. My name is Geld, the Demon Lord. Everyone around me is shocked at this sudden turn of events and becomes wary of the exploding aura of the Orc Disaster. His aura is even creating a slight wind pressure. Meanwhile, I'm just looking at him with an impassive face. Rimuru. Okay. You may be wondering why did I let the Orc Lord kill Gelmud and eat him? Well, I'm going to use Predator on this guy and I would prefer to eat a half-baked Demon Lord than an Orc Lord and a high-level magen. The Kijin and Ranga then stand in front of me, shielding me. Benimaru, stand back, Rimuru-sama. We will dash. Rimuru, no, it's fine. You can't beat him. A shocked look appears on their faces. They knew the orc disaster was powerful, but they didn't think he was strong enough to take them down, especially while working together. But if I were the one who said that, then it must be true. I noticed their expressions, so I sigh while smiling wryly. Rimuru, don't get me wrong, it's not like he can kill any of you, it's just that. Well, it's better to just show you. Mikoto, you still want some action? I asked Mikoto mainly because she didn't get the chance to take out Geld while it was still an orc lord and because Gelmud is a bit too much of a small fry. Mikoto looks towards the orc disaster and hesitates, most likely because she's still recovering emotionally from thinking she was the cause of Gelmud's death. This hesitation could kill her in a proper battle. Right. I've decided. After this, she's going through special killing training. Barely a second later, Mikoto looks back at me and nods with resolution. She takes out a coin, flicks it into the air, and begins charging. When the coin lines up, she flicks it with her thumb. Vayim. A bright orange beam of energy hits Geld, the orc disaster, right in the forehead, piercing his head. Everyone thought it was over at that moment, until the Fire Nation Ada. Cough. The orc disaster regenerated from the damage within 3 seconds. A sickly yellow aura in the form of tentacle-like things fills the gap in his head before turning into regular skin. My tentacles look cuter than yours. Rimuru, see what I mean? You guys don't have the firepower to take this guy out in one hit. You won't lose, but you won't win either. The Kijin and Ranga stand down after realizing this. Shuna, then, what should we do? Rimuru, you guys don't have to do anything. Just sit back and enjoy the show. I can't just rely on you guys for everything you know, also, I want to show you guys how awesome your leader is. After saying that, I walk towards the orc disaster who just finished eating another orc standing to his side to replenish his energy and boost his regeneration. He turns to me and raises his cleaver weapon. I, on the other hand, don't touch Yamato. As much of an OP weapon as it is, I don't need to use it. Or rather, nothing will change if I use it. It can't stop Geld's regeneration. This just shows that sometimes, no matter how powerful you are, you can't deal with some situations by yourself. Not that I can't deal with this situation. So, what do I do? Simple. If Yamato can't deal with Geld, I'll just have to make something that can. And so, I hold out my arm. Creation. Slowly forming before me is a scythe. It's mainly black, but it has purple highlights. A purple chain is also attached to the end. Rimuru, harp. The noble phantasm of Medusa Lancer from the Fate series. It's a chain scythe that has an immortal killing property. Meaning it can prevent healing of all kinds. A direct counter to our orc disaster friend here. It's also been scaled up in size to suit my body since the original user was only a child. I rest the scythe on my shoulder as I stare at the orc disaster with a smile on my face. Rimuru, let's start the game, shall we? Geld, I'm hungry. The newly reborn orc disaster mutters to himself. He looks at all of us. He feels the aura of Ranga and the Kijin, realizing that they are all high-level monsters. Geld. You will suffice for now. Ew, please get the fuck away from me. He opens his arms out wide and red balls of energy begin to appear in his hands. It's Gelmud's Death March dance. I'm a bit jealous, Death March dance is an art, not a skill. Meaning it's a technique. Predator can't copy techniques from the things it eats, only skills. So if I were to eat Gelmud, I wouldn't have been able to use it. Geld's starved skill can even take arts, so it's better than Predator in that regard. Of course, I would rather not be stricken by a constant endless hunger, so even if had a choice, I would not want that skill. The energy balls shoot towards us and split into hundreds of smaller red bolts of energy. Far more than Gelmud could make. Furthermore, each one is augmented with his starved unique skill, and as a consequence, they all have the rot effect added to it. Think of it as hundreds of mini slimes with acidic effects all flying towards us at once. Not that I give any fucks. Rimuru, unlimited meat bun works. Hundreds of meat buns appear mid-air behind me, matching the number of energy bolts, before flying towards them, meeting mid-air. BBBBBBBBBOM. Loud explosions ring out from each collision. Death March dance was rendered completely ineffective. Do note that all of those meat buns were completely ordinary. Geld looks at me, seemingly only noticing my existence now. I'm not surprised really, he should only see me as a minion, a foot soldier. I'm still wearing Shizu's anti-magic mask, after all, my aura is completely hidden. Geld. A fly. Rimuru, you do realize this fly just nullified your entire attack, right? Geld. Ever since he evolved, his body could hold all those powers he gained through his starved skill and regained his intelligence as a consequence, but I'm not sure if he was originally smart. Geld begins to pay attention to me. Not because I talked back to him, nor did he suddenly realize what a threat I am, but because he noticed Harp resting on my shoulder. He fears no man, but this thing, it scares him. His own aura begins to swell and form ghastly faces, each of them with a large mouth. Geld, consume him. Chaos Eater. His aura shoots towards us as tendrils with a hungry mouth at the end of each one, looking to eat me. I stab the blade of Harp into the ground and run clockwise around the orc disaster after writing a speed rune on my hand, not wanting to close the distance just yet. I might as well have a little fun, you know. Each of the tendrils impacts the ground behind me before dissipating as I continue running. Geld forms more Chaos Eater tendrils and begins to aim in front of me, causing me to dodge. I lean back and slide forwards on my knees as a tendril shoots over me and continue running. Another one is heading towards me from the side, so I jump and perform a sideways flip as it shoots right under me. Another one heads right towards me but is more easily manageable as I just lean to the side, once again causing it to miss. Not even 3 seconds have passed since he first began attacking me. I continue to dodge his attempts with a calm smile while he continues to form more Chaos Eater tendrils and send them towards me, hoping to consume me. Suddenly, I stop running and skid to a halt, standing up straight. Immediately after, a Chaos Eater tendril impacts the ground in front of me from directly above me. Geld, GHR. The orc disaster growls and walks towards me with heavy steps. I don't move from my spot as I raise my hand. Materializing around my wrist is a purple chain, linked all the way back to Harp resting back with everyone else. I pull my hand forward and Harp leaves the ground and flies right towards me, to which I catch flawlessly. After that, I just continue smiling at the approaching orc disaster while still resting Harp on my shoulder. Rimuru, ho, you're approaching me. Instead of running away at the sight of the weapon in my hand, you're coming right to me? Geld, I can't eat you without getting closer. Rimuru, oh ho. Then come as close as you like. I also begin approaching the orc disaster. Once we get close enough, Geld immediately raises his weapon and smashes it down towards me. I just raise my hand. And catch the cleaver, immediately stopping it. The force travels through my body harmlessly into the ground, causing cracks to appear under me. Geld, GUH. Rimuru. Ha. I just smirk dismissively like a certain pink-haired Oni maid. I've never really shown it, but my physical aspects are off the charts entirely. Regardless of how small I am an origin slime. I hold the status of a highest tier spirit, someone on the level of true dragons. Against a purely physical weapon like this with no enchantments of any kind nor even being made out of magisteel, just one hand is enough to stop it in its tracks even while being used by a newly born demon lord. What's that? Doesn't that mean my speed should be extremely fast and I don't need a speed rune? Well, with the speed rune I don't have to run at full speed and could get by with just a light jog, so... Yes, I couldn't be fucked running at full speed. Sue me. I want to break this cleaver, but I decide not to and leave it intact for now. Geld retracts his weapon, raises it above his head, and immediately brings it back down again. Why is he doing the exact same thing all over again? Are you sure he has his intelligence back? No, wait, he's using 2 hands now. Not like that changed anything. I swipe Harp at Geld. Realizing the danger, he retreats, but he didn't avoid it entirely. His right arm goes flying into the air. Geld, that weapon is dangerous, but why? He mutters to himself once again. After a few seconds, he realizes something. Geld, my arm is not regenerating. And that is what an immortal slaying effect can do. Realizing the danger, he looks towards me and Harp again, finally recognizing us as a lethal threat. But it's a bit too late. I teleport behind him, kneeling on his shoulders. Rimuru, nothing personal kid. I say cheerfully before I swing Harp downwards, decapitating the orc disaster and finishing off the arc. Name, Rimuru. Race, origin slime. Protection, crest of space. Title, Highest Tier Spirit, Leader of the Monsters. Ultimate Skills, Ilya, Heaven's Feel, Raphael, Lord of Wisdom. Intrinsic Skills, Infinite Regeneration, Universal Shapeshift, Universal Sense, Multi-Layer Barrier, Enhanced Replication, Universal Thread. Unique Skills, Predator, Creation, Rune Master. Extra Skills, Lord's Ambition, Thought Communication, Control Wind, Spatial Motion, Dark Flame, Control Particles. Tolerances, Cancel Pain, Resist Melee Attack, Cancel Natural Elements, Cancel Ailments, Resist Spiritual Attack, Resist Holy Attack. Equipment, Yamato, Harp.
If you want to support me, check out my Patreon at https://www.patreon.com/Kaioshin. I tend to polls that decide important plot stuff in my P at Trian. Many thanks to my awesome patrons. Dan Phillips.
If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.